Today, we talk about the power of imagination. This is beautiful because we're talking creation, experimentation, vision, dream, destiny, belief, motivation, inspiration, procrastination. That's what we're talking about. Not only that, we're talking delusion, confusion, cognitive dissonance, confirmation, bias, unique identity, unique cognition, self-actualization, and the age-old psychosocial stages of development. Thank you, Erikson. So let's go. Let's dive deep today. This topic is close to my heart today because without it, I wouldn't be where I'm at today. Imagination is gold. Imagination is core. Imagination is cure. There are many situations in our life where our thought, belief system, vision, flashback, idea came to our mind in thought or vision, we actualized it, and it changed our life. It changed our trajectory. We all have free will, we all have thoughts. Every time we are having a conversation, there's a high possibility that the person you're engaging with, you could be reading a book, you could be watching a TV show, you have a vision in your mind, don't you? Not everyone does. I've learned not everyone does. There is a certain population of the world that see in their mind. Some people think in their mind. Some people are empty vessels. I'm sorry, it's true. Nuance is a real thing. We will dive there. But when you can clearly imagine and let your mind go wild in imagination, you can create amazing things. Let's go. Gymshark. Massive brand, a really beautiful entrepreneurial story that comes up time and time again when Instagram first got its kick up the arse and first really started to characterize itself as a rude but true egoic platform. The Instagram era of Gymshark wearers and super fit body enthusiast was where I really came into the Instagram game, exploring social media influencer lifestyle, micro influencing. What is that like? For me, as a spiritual life coach, dived in, reading tarot, lives, doing a load of different things on Instagram. And the only community that was being churned out to me algorithmically, this is going back some years now, right? Let's say this is 2019, 2018, right? 2017, the platform was quite blah, but we'll talk about the journey of that actually, because social media influences, reels, TikTok, shorts, content, that's beautiful imagination, but the way that that's churned back towards you again and again algorithmically really does program your mind. That psyop, that classical condition, those psychosocial stages of development and that self-actualization looks real different when social media comes into play. So we'll look at that too. But the social media was flooded with slim, ideal summer body, right? Hashtag everywhere, summer body goals, summer body ready. I've always been a plus size queen. I'm looking like, where am I going? What am I doing here? Why is my algorithm just full of the same energy? Everyone's squatting, everyone's lunging. What am I going to do here? I don't fit in, right? And there was definitely hardly any black people on my timeline at the time as well. Interesting reflection, I will say. The platform is so different now. I had to get a whole new Instagram account. I actually don't use any of these accounts anymore, to be honest with you. But the last time I did get an account, I had to really program, how do I want this algorithm to operate? Be careful what you like, be careful what you click, because whatever you feed into will feed you later on down the line, right? So my algorithm is very different now because I obviously went on the social media versus reality experiment and really studied the different paradigms of social applications and the response of algorithm and input and output from a user interface perspective more than anything else. That's just one layer of the experiment, which was really cool. But I done all of this because I had a dream. I had imagination. Really early on, around about 2016, 2017, when I first started engaging with tarot and I done my first YouTube reading, which is really funny and cringy, available on her 7D Consciousness in one of the playlists down the bottom. On some old channel called Shelly Ann, just one video that I brought out over there that magically still sits there. Over there, I started doing spiritual life coaching or tarot reading. I just started helping people. It was the way I was learning about wealth mastery, and I was excited and I was diving in. And in that moment, I really started to imagine, what could my future be? What could I do more of? Where do I want to go in my life? And that imagination inspired me to change my life entirely. Quit my job because my imagination was driving me for change, driving me towards change. So I was like, okay, I'm going to quit my job and I'm going to quit my side hustle too, making cakes. I'm going to leave that career behind. What do I want to do? I want to accrue wealth in a natural, authentic, I want to say liberatory, but that's just me being obnoxious, because it was effervescent, easy, honest, integritous, genuine, natural way just to make money. Because when I was making cakes, it got to a window of time where I was turning away money every week. I was turning away clients every week. I had come to a horcrux in the business where I was living at home, making cakes, still working full time in early years as an early years practitioner, and I did not have enough time in the evenings and the weekends to get all of the cakes done, but I wasn't making enough money to employ another person to help me do cakes or to open up another part of the business and expand in any way. And it got to about 2 to 3 weeks in of me saying no, turning down 50 quid. The week after that, turning down 150 quid. Week after that, turning down more money. I was devastated. And it wasn't too long into the business. It just started as family and friends. And it was just a low-level side hustle. It wasn't even a incorporation that needed to happen because I wasn't making mass amounts of money, you know? It was just a fun thing to do for family and friends, and word of mouth just continued to spread, as it always does. So I said, that's it, I'm stopping. Because I had a meltdown, I had a cry, I had a tantrum. I am a turbulent individual, an INFJT at that, advocate, personality style. And I was livid. I said, I can't live this way. I can't live with myself for turning away money. I'm looking at myself in the mirror and I'm going, who do you think you are to turn down money? Are you that rich that you can week upon week turn down money? Is this a joke? I can't keep living this life. I can't keep going forward with this career. Turning down money. What a joke. I'm humiliated. I'm a letdown. I'm so disappointed in myself. I'm turning away money. People are trying to throw money at me and I'm saying no. What a disgrace I am. I need to change my life and I need to change it now. And that's when I really started looking at business from a really personalized standpoint, uniquely. What is it that I need to never turn down money again? I said that to myself early on, 2017. What do I need to make sure this never happens again? Firstly, cake business is getting shut down because it just needs to stop. Because now I understand manpower. Do you get it? Like now I understand the output of the one individual and how much I can do. Now I need to establish a a much deeper understanding of team, camaraderie, other, how much I can scale uniquely on my own. At that window of time, we're bouncing between doing tarot readings as well now, because now I'm just reading tarot for family and friends, which was initially free and still a lot of the time free, but then also for a small fee or donation, right? So tarot started to just be the way to go and the thing to do, and it was giving me life and keeping me motivated, and it was peaceful and loving. And at the same time, I'm still studying well-being and mindfulness, and I was in love with, is it Zach Caban? I don't know if that's his name. I haven't seen him or heard from him in years. I was obsessed with him. I would do anything I could to just engage with his content, and I even got to go to one of his seminars in London, a big day out that was really expensive that I managed to get tickets to. And it was a massive space filled with loads of people obsessed with mindfulness, when mindfulness was really just starting to come up and find space in education, in community. So it was amazing to be on that journey. And I was reading Eckhart Tolle's books, and The Power of Now is everybody's favourite book, or was everyone's favourite book at that time, the bestseller, but I didn't like that book as much. I liked the book that was more about mindfulness, and in that book he spoke about candle gazing. I'm not sure what book he speaks about candle gazing and staring at the flowers, and just staring at a petal or a leaf. More simplistic ideologies of mindfulness, more kind of, I guess, bohemian and hippie and shamanic, the kind of stuff I needed. I was freelancing around London at the time while still studying all of this, while still doing tarot. And on the train, I needed techniques and methods to stay grounded, you know? How do I not lose myself in this environment, auras and energy of others, being sardined in on a train was hard. So we started looking at different ways internally to just slow down, gaze, breathe, become one, right? And that's when I first discovered breatharianism. Then we fell into the community of everyone who drinks their urine. And then we went from there and spiraled out and learned more about different concepts and spirituality. And that was just a natural journey that all stemmed from imagination, because today we are talking about the power of imagination. And there is a video linked in the description called Imagination is the Core, because imagination is indeed the core. Everything stems from imagination. The creation starts in the mind. Everything on this planet stemmed because somebody imagined it in their mind first before they brought it to life, before they brought it to fruition. Every single company in the world, every single name, every single song, every single piece of artwork, this Mac I'm talking to you on today, the software on this Mac that I'm using to record this, that's imagination. Every single thing on the planet comes back down to what, people? Yep, imagination. So let's dive into that, because I feel like it's a nice conversation to have today and at this time, because there's that left and right on the spectrum. Believer, skeptic, dreamer, believer, empty, cold vessel. Let's say it like that, shall we? We've got the empty, cold vessel on the right. Zero fuck, zero brain functionality, zero neurodiversity, rigid, regimented, no liberatory free flow in the mind space. Really objective, let's say that. And then on the left, free spirit, really subjective, overly sentimental, clairvoyant dreamer, empathic believer, wild enthusiast of all things imaginary, consciousness enthusiast, loves spiritual awakening, loves enlightenment, lives in the mind space. Two very different constructs, two very different cognition forms of cognition. This is interesting because coming up on my journey, there has been repeated vibrations, repeated entities, repeated others that imply, oh, that's a silly idea. Oh, you are just one of those people. Oh, she's crazy. Oh, she's delusional. Oh, you live in a dream world. You wouldn't be like... They're not going to get anywhere in their life. Oh, that's not even real. Oh, they're doing this. Oh, they're doing that. Oh, they're just imagining this lifestyle. You know? Oh, you're just wishing and dreaming. You're just imagining it. Yeah, I am. Because imagination is the core and it all starts with imagination. Just like your fucking creation itself. Yeah? Because you came out of the womb. Someone imagined that you were going to be born. Someone imagined procreating, yeah? That sperm and that egg imagined union and decided to stick or accept an alternative source that evening, yeah? No matter how you were conceived, whether it was in a back alley, a toilet, on your mother or father's honeymoon, there was some kind of idea that someone imagined, oh, we could get busy tonight, you know? When you're before you have sex or before you go on a date, do you imagine? You imagine touching that person's, rubbing that person's abs, touching that person's breast. You imagine sexual intercourse with that person. You imagine kissing that person. Yeah? Then you actualize it if you've got game and skills, right? So bear that in mind. Imagination can be found in all forms. I think, therefore I am. Descartes' theory. Yeah? And then we can go into complex imaginary numbers. Yeah? The complex imaginary line. What I love most about mathematics, and Descartes is a beautiful crossover between the mathematician and the I think therefore I am context of conversation, because as a medium, a clairvoyant who sees, it's painful to see and the rest of the world not see. I bitch about it all the time. You'll find snippets of me all over the internet screaming and bitching about how struggle riddled I am in this lifetime. But what makes it so beautiful and why mathematics, cheesy to say so, because I don't really like mathematics. Let's say physics, let's say econophysics, let's say agent-based models, that's my preference, yeah? In relation to that, we still do have to say it's the complex imaginary line. It's the complex imaginary numbers, right? That make this story beautiful, because only then do we have validity. I'm coming from a pseudoscience conspiracy background, spiritual nutcase. No one gives a fuck what the clairvoyant or medium has to say from the left, that overly sentimental individual. But hold on, wait. Can I define my ideologies in peer-reviewed articles through complex imaginary numbers? Through the imaginary line? Oh, I can? Well, ding, 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 ding. We are awakening, right? Because what the fuck is conspiracy and what the fuck is pseudoscience until it hits matter at the right period of space and time and can clearly be defined by a range of other practitioners, scientists, researchers, peers in review. Today we're clearly bitching. Clearly I only came here to bitch today because I guess I get sentimental and I get a bee in my bonnet and I get dirt in my halo, because imagination is everything to me. Once again, I wouldn't be here today without that imagination. I manifested everything I have in my life right now. I'm manifesting more right now. It's hard. and it's sad, and it's annoying, and it's debilitating on the left, because I want to be accepted, and I want to be received, and I want to be seen, and I want to be heard. All those ideologies comes in line with the conversation today. I mean, I had this week about the Walk of Fame. Miley Cyrus and Ricky Gervais recently got their stars. Miley's still set to get hers. Ricky's smiling, full of teeth, those vampire teeth of these, glaring in the streets of dystopia with his star. And you're like, okay, guys, seriously, the world's going to shit. Seriously. But it brought up an interesting perspective that's still with me today, which is that we all need something. We all seek validation. Our psyches, our mind, our cognition, we all want to achieve something, right? We imagine and we believe, and it removes us somewhat from our reality, because we need inspiration. We need alternative perspective. We need inspiration. We need liberatory cognition, a way to perceive life out of the remit that we're in. If you live in a 1-bedroom flat with 4 of your brothers and sisters and your mum and dad, imagine that. 1-bedroom flat with 4 brothers and sisters and your mum and dad. That's a total of 7 people in a 1-bedroom flat. There's not much space anywhere, so the front room and the bedroom have all now been made into loads of little kind of mattressy spaces where you're all caved in together, or one giant floor where you all kind of sleep on and use and transition into different spaces, and you all eat in this area and put this mat down, and you do this, and a lot of you have to go out and you're all working to save enough money to live. Sounds drastic, but that's a situation for many people at the real bottom of the rung in regards to deprivation and wealth, or lack thereof, right? So with that in mind, we're going to have moments where we imagine and dream, we meditate, we go inwards. Put your headphones on and dream yourself to a mansion, yeah? Sometimes the only liberation we have is in our thoughts, in our visions, in our imagination, in our dreams, yeah? So as I kind of power forward with more imagination than ever before at this point, and I say that knowing that things are becoming actualized in matter, but you know when you're programmed by this old ideology from someone in your past, right? Someone you kind of grew up with, a family friend, colleague, a member from the past who's no longer a member, but they really fucking programmed the fuck out of you, gaslit the fuck out of you, made you believe that imagining was worth nothing. So every now and then when you do something amazing, you get a little flashback and you're like, shit, I'm just making this shit up again. But you're not. You're not. And it's beautiful because, once again, validity cures the day. Validity cures the day. And I always used to fight with reliability and validity in science. It just was like the two words that would scream anti everything that was spirituality. But when you really start to dive in and go, right, I need validity, I need reliability, I need statistical significance here, I need science, I need peer reviews, you start to slowly climb into the right realm. And you move from the left of you're full of shit, you're making it up, hippie weirdo, to, oh, validity's creeping in, oh, this is proven, oh, we've got some stable ground here, this is grounded in truth. Right? And it takes the time and it's the spectrum and we go back and forth, but it is a real thing. Once again, Gymshark was the example we used at the beginning, wasn't it? Came into the game with athletics, clothing, nice lycra stretchy pieces, cute outfits, at a time where social media was full of body positive, summer body, super slim, only one body type was actually on social media at that time. In my opinion, let me know if I'm wrong. If we fly back to 2018, 2017, 2018, 2019, a little bit of 2020, we started coming out the gate. At least the community I was in, or the network that was surrounding me, or what I was seeing on social media, or what was being pushed out of Instagram at the time, was that super sexy, super fit, slim white person in Gymshark. Tell me I'm wrong. Please tell me I'm wrong. Yeah, because it'll be nice to be wrong. Do you know what I mean? But I really do feel like that was it. And it took a lot of people to go, where the fuck do I fit in here? I love social media now. I love Instagram's diversity now. If you go to my Instagram that I've set up, you'll see loads and loads of reposts of just random nuanced kind of out there different creators. Because the moment I started to break away from the algorithmic timeline that was that same narrative over and over again, started finding really cool, out there, niche, innovative people doing amazing things, getting real good traction, and numbers were coming up, and it was like, woo, there's micro influencers everywhere, and actually bigger influencers everywhere as well, and they're doing amazing things, and they look amazing, and they're not one form of person. Like, I don't even want to bring up white privilege in this context, right? But let's just throw it out there, because when we're doing Edit 25 at Hermitology, right, for her tech, it is equality, diversity, inclusion and technology, and there is a small section of it that does obviously have to overlap with the reality of psychological paradigms, cultural standing, but it's really about code and qubit and qudit and modifications in design and user interface from an equality, diversity and inclusion ideology, removed from culture. But we do have to look at the ideologies of, for example, AI at this time. When you see when that anime AI trend was going on, I think Sam Altman started that ChatGPT trend where everyone was going for that specific anime character. That character can't be black, but I am black. So when I run my photo through that trying to get that anime, I'm coming out as anime. Yellow, beige. But I want to be black because I'm black. So can't you do that in a black? No. Computer says no, sorry. System won't do it. Why? Because they haven't got Edit 25, right? So not only that, that's the early phases of Instagram when it was only the white privilege and the sexy body privilege that were dominating the feed. And even the algorithms advanced majorly since then, but that was all that was out on Instagram. Instagram's the best example of that. It was one kind of form of content. Every single person on the platform, everyone else was just down on the floor, not doing much, and less engagement was there as well. Okay, we were kind of somewhat there, but the main people that were the succeeding influencers were those kind of people. It's changed massively now. Diversity's come in and shifted the game. Right weirdos dominating the space now. My kind of people. Finally, the weirdos can rise. Let's go. You know, I loved the era where I was on social media, on Instagram, doing lives every day. I went through a phase of doing Instagram lives all the time, tarot lives, tarot readings, posting all the time, always walking around and traveling, posting. I was all over Snapchat all the time, living life and really engaged. But you evolve and you experiment and then you learn and then you build your own tech and then you realise what you do or don't want to engage with full time or not. Or you lose all of your passwords and can't find them again, and then you just move on. Because that's where we're at with all of my Meta accounts at this time. I don't even know what all of my Meta logins have vanished and I can't find them, and now I'm out of all Meta accounts, and it's just a sign from God. I'm like, yeah, whatevs. We can move on freely and be liberated. There's more to be done at her tech anyway, right? That's my excuse anyway, and we're sticking with it. But other than that, I guess this is a bitch and a rant today. Not too much to write home about. I didn't speak about cognitive dissonance as much, or confirmation bias. Now, both of those are quite limiting constructs that were keeping me bound to a really negative sense of self for a while, because I had a lecturer kind of digging at mediums all the time, every fucking week. Even though she knew I was one, she would just shit on the ideology that I even existed and believed in what I did, telling the whole class that were prepared to leave and become fucking clinical practitioners for NHS that my kind were not real and fake, fraudulent motherfuckers. So that was intense, because it was like, well, you're raising a bunch of future clinicians to believe that mediumship's not real, to believe that my cognition is not a genuine thing. And I work with clients. I tell them stuff I would not know. So what are you saying? I've never known that name. I've never seen this man before in my life, but now he's in front of me in mirage form telling me to tell this woman something. What do you want me to do? Lie? Or you're telling people I'm a liar on top of that, like mediums are liars, majority of them are fraudsters, it's not a real thing. But I have experiences all the time and I pass messages on, and people just look at you when you say that as well, like you're full of shit. And then they wonder why you build up resentment towards them or don't want to talk to them anymore. That's my reality you're shitting on. Like, I used to be so vexed all the time, because it's like, you're talking about my cognition. You understand you're shitting on my cognition. Family and friends, colleagues, you think it's funny. This is banter to you, but you're shitting on my cognition. Because I'm clairvoyant and I'm telling you that, and I'm a medium, and actually I've got clients and people that actually genuinely rely on me and value my contributions. Yeah, I connect with the other side. But you think I'm full of shit. But when your life's shit, you don't, because you'll run to me straight away and ask for guidance. Yeah, I'll tear you out of the bullshit that you're in. I'll prevent you from going any deeper down the shitstorm that is your life. You're welcome. Yeah. But still you don't really believe. Harsh, hard reality to be in, hard place to navigate through. But it is what it is. So what do? You understand unique identity. You understand unique cognition, and the unique conditions that surround you in your reality, and you push for self-actualization. That's it. What's left? Nothing. Yeah? Thank you, Maslow. Hierarchy of needs. Let us go. We must conquer. Not only that, as you're doing that, what else have you got to do? You've got to go through the psychosocial stages of development. And you've got to look at the left and right of every single one of those steps and break the paradigms that are limiting to you. Yeah? If you've developed trust or mistrust in relationships with absolutely anyone, you're going to need to change that. If you have mistrust with someone in your life and they're a family member, and you've had it for years and years and years, you can try and reform that, or you can break that tie, cut cords, and move on with your life. To be honest, that's the way to go. But if you keep building on that mistrust, and that's the cemented mistrust you have in that relationship, you're not going to go anywhere. Yeah, and that's what I've had to learn as well. Also coming up and evolving and being more of me and developing hermitology. It's like I can't keep going down this route with these people that I've only ever developed mistrust with. I don't fucking trust you, and I never have. And that's because I've got more than enough validity in our past exchanges to confirm that you are indeed full of shit. And you are not genuine, and you're not there for me. You can say it to my face, it's cute. But there's a certain amount of windows of time when someone tells you over and over again that they've got you and they love you and they care about you and this and that, but they don't exude that. They don't show that. That's not genuine. You're full of shit. And I've let that slide multiple times already, but this time I'm going to stand on it. That is you breaking the fucking curse of the cemented paradigm within Erikson's psychosocial stages of development and going, no, we're not doing that anymore. We've made that choice too many times already, and it's screwed me up the arse every time. No more mistrust in our relationship, and you can't seem to move beyond mistrust. So, next. Shame and autonomy. In this relationship that I've been in for the last 4 years, I'm always ashamed of my body in this relationship. I'm never sexy enough, right? I never really am intimate enough. I don't do the right things sexually. So I'm really ashamed of trying to flirt or seduce or be what the other person needs sexually and romantically. I'm just embarrassed. They've made it clear they don't like my body type, or I've put on weight since I've got pregnant, so I'm ashamed. I feel shame, right? Is that something that you can work on independently and remove that shame from your energy or aura? Or is that shame projected on you by that partner? Because if you are in a relationship that is not autonomous but is full of shame, bye, next. You're going to have to leave it eventually. Eventually you break, right? And that's the thing as well. I spoke about this in another broadcast a little while ago, which was the same cycle will cause or loop round and round again. Yeah? Around and round again. You see the red flag on week 1. You see the red flag on date 2. You see the red flag on date 4. It only becomes more cemented, yeah? Because although there are psychosocial stages of development, right, that Erikson outlines, you can go and have a look at that in the description. I'll link my Radical Self-Love DevOps publication. Check it out. And in there, the Erikson steps are in there, and that's when I run the Erikson reverse. So what I believe is that we go back down the steps and start to deal with the issues that were blocking us. This is spiritual awakening, yeah? It's reverse engineering the way in which we were raised and going back down to improve our consciousness about what we did or didn't settle for in childhood and adolescence, yeah? Reforming the self. Recalibrating the psyche was something that I got in trouble for at uni when I made a whole paper about it. But it makes more sense now that Neuralink's out the gate and we have chips in brains. People are playing Mario Kart with their brains, and they tried to cancel me at university in my undergraduate for writing a paper on recalibrating the psyche. Do you see what I fucking mean? Imagination. Imagination. I was so innovative and so imaginative that I created a whole paper on recalibrating the psyche. I got accused of plagiarism for it as well. Awful. Cried my eyes out during the plagiarism meeting, investigation, explaining that it's all my own work. They said it's way beyond what anyone of your caliber should be doing at an undergraduate level. And they still gave me a shit grade because it didn't meet the rubric criteria. Fucking with my imagination again. Tearing my sense of self down. Gaslighting me. Blocking me. Preventing me. Clearly I'm in a bad mood today, guys. Let's be honest. This isn't the most upbeat power podcast we've had out of the series to date. This is indeed episode 10, and I am bitching about how my imagination is the core for me, yet it has been targeted by the skeptics for many moons, past lives included, right? So that's why we scream self-actualization again. And I don't know who's going to find this or how linked to education this is this week, actually. It's just verbiage, in my opinion. I'm bitching. You're welcome. Because I want to say the premise of self-actualization is so far removed from the mass population that you are destined to struggle. Morbid, sad, not the most upbeat vibration. Again, I'm sorry guys, but that's that. When you look at the pyramid, you see that the mass is at the bottom. The higher up we go, the more and more we go towards the 1%, right? So what I will say is the power of imagination is rooted in being the 1%, and being okay with that. And understanding that that is a unique journey, that is going to have struggle and strife. It is going to have positivity and liberation. And you are going to find yourself on the journey. It is spiritual awakening. It is evolution. But it is an independent journey through a range of sociological paradigms that no one else can take you through. No one else can really travel with you in the terrain that is yours, your cognition, your psyche, your mind, your imagination, your dream, your vision. No one could see this future for me. Only I could. And then it came down to me to manifest it. And if I listened to everybody else and their perspectives on what I could or couldn't achieve, or what was or wasn't reality, I would never make it anywhere. If I didn't believe the visions that I had and my past and loved ones who came to me and told me things and showed me this way, I wouldn't be here now. If I didn't listen to God at times when I was struggling out on my knees and walking away from toxic environments and choosing to kind of risk homelessness and struggle and be out on my arse and broke, living my truth and building the career I want instead of living confined in somebody else's idea of a happy home. Yeah? I've worked my arse off for everything I have at this point. That's the point. And that comes from going, okay, this is my mind, my ideology, my vision, my dream, my reality, and I'm going to make it this way. I want this for myself. I want this for myself. I want this for myself. And it is scary and overwhelming, and that's why we're bitching a bit today. Because sometimes you need to kind of let the air out of the balloon a little bit, where you feel like it's hard and exhausting to keep being the version of you that is that 1%. That isn't that mass pop. Because the mass population provides validity, reliability, peer-reviewed articles. It provides walks of fame, stars and rewards and pats on the back and well dones. It provides. But when you are the 1% and you are a unique, and we all are that 1%. But how conscious we are of that on a spectrum per annum is the difference here. We're all unique, we're all amazing, we've all come here with our own destiny and our own thing to do. Many of us will find it, many of us won't. Many of us need external validation, many of us seek internal validity. It's the locus of control. We're always looking and teeter and totter in between what is that positive and that negative for us, right? I'm going to stay in this relationship even though he tears me down about how I look and how I feel, and even though I pay all the bills and he doesn't do anything, and although I just carry the weight of this relationship, I'm going to stay in it, because once again, mass is acceleration, yeah? In many people's eyes. We could dive into Newton's second law and dissect all of that, and then dive into the third law of that, right? But the basic concept that humanity is ingrained to believe is that standard ideology that mass is acceleration. So the more people we have in our circumference, the more mass we can accrue. I can do more with this man even though he riddles me with shame and limits my autonomy. I can do more in this house because it's bigger than going out on my own and getting a smaller apartment. So I'm going to keep living in the family home for more years than going out on my own. It's going to be harder for me as an independent female than it would be to live in the family home with the family, and we all kind of chip in and support more than me going by myself. Limitations, slowing yourself down once again. Because it is that unique 1% journey that will keep you going, you know? And nourish you and put you through your paces and help you find your way. Which isn't easy at all. So how do you balance out that exchange? Imagination. You create and you build, you envision, you manifest from a 1 percentile prospect, position, perspective. That's the best thing. When I was manifesting and building a life surrounded by so many others, still being a spiritual life coach and carrying the weight of the world on my shoulders, mentally, at least in my mind anyway, we all feel we do that at some point in our lives, feeling that way internally, I couldn't do too much. I was weighed down. And in a week, I'm trying to build all this stuff for myself, but I'm still building something for that person and that person and that person. And I'm stopping over there and helping that person. I've got all these things going on in my life, but I've still got all of these other people I need to help who've got all these things in their life. And somehow I've managed to pick up everybody else and start caring for them whilst also managing to care for myself. But now there's a certain degree of dependency that I didn't account for early on in my career. As a spiritual life coach, you've got to make sure that your clientele do not become dependent on you and are flourishing independently on their own, right? So then you've got to reform and rebuild and go back into the field and say, right, we're going to change our scheduling, we're going to change our timing, we're going to work like this now, oh, we're going to do a Zoom, we're going to do an events, we're going to do this. We're changing our approaches and we're reshaping how we're working and we're evolving together, because actually we want to make sure that our relationships are interdependent, right? But that's incredibly hard. That's with colleagues, that's with managers and bosses, that's with partners and co-founders, that's with husband and wife, that's with family and kids, right? Potty training your kids, yeah? You can't baby your kids all the time and potty train them to the point where you're the one taking them to the toilet every single time, asking them if they need to go. Your child needs to develop consciousness and awareness that we is on the way out, and they need to go to the toilet. When they have that feeling of I need to wee, go to the toilet. Go to the potty quick, right? That's what you need to teach. Not, do you need to go to the toilet? Here you go, just sit there. Like, there's different ways to go about that. Sorry, I'm early years professional in my background, so we're digressing. But that can be applied in many areas of life in adulthood. In what ways are you in training? And you're relying on someone else to program you with that. And in what ways can you use your imagination as a better motivator to keep yourself aligned to the Most High in your mind? When I speak about the Most High as well, I speak quite frequently about that vision, that prophecy, that world, that dream. What is the Most High manifestation for you? How do you go about getting that? Because if you stay low vibrational and you hang around with people that strip you of autonomy and that fill you with shame and that gaslight you and that tell you you're not enough and that they don't believe in your imagination, they don't believe in your career choices, they don't believe in your dreams, yeah? There were cycles and cycles I went through when I was doing things in my career. The main time was to start with tarot. A load of people didn't believe in me, didn't give a fuck about me. No one gave a fuck about my business as well from the very start of time. It was just there and whatever, right? A little support here and there, just through nice, oh, good for you conversations. No one gave a fuck about my social media platforms. People just don't care. People don't care. It's not about them. Why would they care? Like, get over it. They don't care. Next, right? You finally ingrain that into your sense of self, but you're still around these people. So the more that they don't care, they've set the precedence of they don't care about what's important to you, but it's your life. Tarot is my everything. I'm studying it. I'm researching it. I have a philosophy around it. What am I going to do? Keep hanging around with the people that tear it down? No, you keep going. And you get to a point in your career where it's going really well. You're doing really amazing things with it. Tarot is becoming more and more established and you're building up a nice clientele. You built a business off the back of this ideology. Things are really going positively for you. Then everyone's like, oh, I'm interested. I want to know more. Everyone starts coming back into the fold and feeling rewarded by knowing you. Wow, you're doing something amazing in your life. You're building something good for yourself. That's amazing. But then if you're one of those people that evolve again and change again and don't stick with the status quo, i.e. me, I jumped out of the tarot lane, jumped into the technology lane. Yeah? Oh, we're shifting again. People don't know where they stand with you again because you're changing again. Evolution. So that's the thing about that self-actualization and that 1% and that imagination. And I remember what I went through when I first came into the tarot and came out as a medium, and the burden that caused, and the 2 to 3 years that I struggled and felt like I lost a lot and then had to regain a lot to get back to where I was, and everyone left and then came back. And then when I went through this again with the tech, I said, I'm not doing that again. I can't go through that paradigm again where I get gaslit by everyone and made to feel like an evil demon necromancer. But then when I'm actually stabilised and financially doing well on my own as part of this construct, everyone's back. So it got to the point where it was like, we can't keep repeating the same cycle again. It's going to be toxic, yeah? Or I'm going to become prey. Either way, you don't want to let people go. You love them and you come prey anyway, and they strip you of everything you fucking have, right? But at the end of the day, you learn the lesson, you self-actualize, and eventually you get to a place in your life where you start utilizing that 1%. You are that unvariable, that one variable, that 1 percentile, and you keep moving forward on your own with that. And then hopefully everyone else becomes rude, but placeholders in your reality, where your imagination and your inspiration, your driving force comes first. Because actually, when you are in line with your imagination and you're inspired and you're getting the visions and you're experimenting and you're being creative and you're dreaming and you're believing and you're manifesting, you're motivated, aren't you? Procrastination's not there. Procrastination isn't really something I deal with when I'm in the light, when I'm in my element. I don't know procrastination very well, and I don't really get writer's block either. I'm not one of those people that are starved of ideas. I throw ideas out left, right, and centre and give ideas away free all the time. Potentially why my career and life's been fucking stagnant and struggling, because everyone around me has just been fucking empty vessels with no ideas of their own, just chewing on my shit. And I've just said, do you know what, you can have it, take all my ideas, I've got more than enough. They can't keep coming out of me, right? But you get to that point, whether you think that's an obnoxious statement or not, you get to the point where your unique identity and your unique cognition have to drive your self-actualization. Who are you, actually? How would you represent yourself? And how are you using your unique identity to reinforce your unique cognition? Because the vision that you have will never be the vision that I have. We will never be the same. We are human, beautiful, one and the same. But I could never see what you see. I could never do what you do to the degree at which you do it. You bend over, tie your shoelace. Not going to be the same way I do it. You make a cup of tea, not the same way I do it. Yeah? You build a business, not the same way I do it. You do your hair, you do your makeup, not the same way I do it. You brush your teeth, not the same way I do it. That vision, that thought, that feeling, yeah? That step, that stride, that glance, that laugh, that smile, that eye contact, that breath, that prana. It's unique to you. So we've gone here, there, and everywhere today with the power of imagination, but the core of the conversation is self, you. Nuance, difference, change, willingness, openness, creation, diversity. A plethora of what it means to be one. And the role that every other one plays in this paradigm. Weird way to go today, guys, but that is it. So I hope that found you well, and I hope that it provides you with whatever on earth you need providing with. Love and light. I'll be back soon with more.